and I used
All right.
Kelpie and fucking Horsey as tokens.
Ooh, yeah.
Good
Yep.
morning.
Hi, friends.
Good morning.
Let me see if I can get the
Hi,
overlay.
friend.
Let's see. This got to
No
be full
overlay
screen
for
here.
you.
There we go. Oh my god, it works. It works. We're here. Guys, so this is Dungeon World. And
Azu!
Dungeon World is Azu's not here for the nudity.
Azu!
Azu probably sees plenty of nudity. Azu's here for the campaign. Oh wait.
We're all here for the camping.
Dungeon World is a tabletop role-playing game along the veins of, say, like Dungeons and Dragons, where you build characters using a game system and you role-play out adventures. Usually through the guidance of a dungeon master or a game master or a storyteller, or in this case Laurel, who is who's the maestro, the mistress of ceremonies. We're all playing characters that are not correctly shown on screen because the updating the overlay art is actually a lot of work, and this season is nearly over anyways. We got a few more episodes ahead of us, so I'm being lazy. That being said, you're gonna hear lots of voices. You're gonna hear us talking through things, and here's something you need to know: the game system is all based on rolling 2d6. Whenever we attempt something that's going to be either difficult for us or challenged by another person or another thing, then we'll need to make a roll based on one of our stats, and those stats will modify the 2d6 roll. Anything that is 7 through 9 is a success, but the GM gets to make a move. So success with a twist. Anything that is 10 or above is a pure success. Anything 6 and below is a failure. As we've all learned. I have to scroll down to catch up to what's going on here. All right. So you'll see that we are currently on a map that looks like a dinosaur. As you can see, here's the dinosaur head right here, right?
Oh my god, it does.
Little dinosaur hand. It's a little T-Rex. And this is a very important place that we're in. Why don't you tell us what's going on, Laurel?
All right. When we last left our heroic adventurers, you had just been brought to a place called Haven. And none of you knew much about Haven, except for, I think, Alexandra had heard of it, at least in the sense of that's where her grandfather, as I say that questioningly, often goes to play chess. And it is a realm created and controlled by the dragon Viola, outside of time and space. It is exactly what it is named. It is a haven. And it is a beautiful village on the coast with all sorts of unusual looking creatures around. And you see cat boys and cat girls. You see small little, like, fire lizard style dragons. You see some bigger dragons that are up in the sky looking like they're having, it's either a mock battle or a courtship rite. It's really hard to tell. But they seem to be enjoying themselves either way. And walking towards you with scarlet robes and a long wooden staff is a very strange creature who looks a bit like a dinosaur himself. He has red skin and is a reptilianoid, uh, walking, talking, and he pauses and he greets you and he says, "Welcome to Haven. I am Master Joe."
Jaylin is just watching him.
Rothgar steps forward and just like holds out a hand.
And he shakes Rothgar's hand and he goes, our own adventurers are off on some on some tasks of their own. And Viola's a bit tired from everything that she was just doing. So I am going to be your host and to kind of explain to you all why we brought you here.
Jaylin leans over to Kethra and goes, "He talks."
Rothgar just looks at him and is like, "Slow down there, lizard man. Who's Viola?"
You just met her.
Yes. Out
She,
by the portal to the
yes, and goes,
Had she actually spoken to us? Or to Rothgar, at least?
I think
don't
she
think
did
so.
at the end of session, didn't she? Because there was
Oh,
a
maybe she
exchange
did. Maybe she
between
did.
her
Yeah,
and
I think
Sidonia.
I'm remembering wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, ignore me.
Sidonia-
Ignore me.
No, that's okay. Sidonia did most of the talking for her, but you did hear her voice. But when you ask him, and he kind of smiles and he goes, she is the obsidian dragon. She is the dragon of natural life and death, and the forces that you have been contending with are her arch enemies. She goes, she is also one of Iago's aunts.
Oh.
And it was your adventures with his mother and Iago that actually brought you all to our attention. Because it's very rare for his kind of dragon to be born and live safely. And you got him to the state in which can make some many wonderful changes in restoring the world tree. And he goes, but before we begin that conversation, come, let's get to a place where you can refresh yourselves and have something to eat and drink. I'm sure you have many questions.
Yeah, I think we do. So Jaylin will follow along.
Yeah.
And he takes you to what looks to be a bit of a small feast hall. And there's rooms to the side where people can kind of freshen up and wash their hands and faces, and then settle in a big round circular table. And Joe takes kind of the head of the table, and he goes, um, I am about 200 years old, and I have been here for most of that time. I was a very young lizard when and he goes and he smiles and he goes, I was a very young lizard adventurer when I encountered my own oath circle, just like yours. And back in those days, we were serving Viola, doing much the stuff that you guys have been doing now on your own. I have very fond memories of that. Would one of you care to tell me a little bit about your adventures together?
Rothgar looks at the others, kind of curious as well.
Jaylin, he considers speaking up for a moment, and then he looks over to Kethra.
And Kethra just kind of shakes her head like, really? Really? Brave in battle, can't talk when we're just... Okay.
He's a lizard.
I have news for you, sweetheart. You're a werewolf.
Oh. Well, we didn't have to talk about that, did we?
And at that point, Lillith will speak up with this big smile on her face and she'll say, we fight like super big scary monsters. We fought a big rabbit thing that was very rude. He was actually quite mean.
Oh, the Dagnabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
Joe kind of inhales and goes, "You faced a dag nabbit?"
Yeah, he was very not very nice actually. He was quite rude.
And he kind of rubs his red reptilian face and he goes, "They were so cute when they were little.
When they were little?
You could just hold one in the palm of his hand, in your hand." But a certain wizard friend of mine who likes to get drunk was experimenting on his daughter's pet bunny, and terrible things happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, Alexandra's just gonna shift uncomfortably.
she's getting a sidelong glance.
He goes, and then once he made one, he thought for some reason that it was a good idea to make a girl, and you hear the phrase of breed like
No,
rabbits.
okay.
Well, breeding like dag nabbits is even worse.
Okay.
They always have litters of 12.
Lilith begins to brush. Lilith begins to blush very heavily.
She goes, "Twice a year."
No, what? Wow. Okay.
That's a lot of dag nabbits.
That's a lot of dag nabbits. That's
And so you can just imagine what happened when a couple of them escaped into the wild.
yeah.
But
he goes like
they're
yeah.
not
He goes I can. I'm not surprised by magic going wrong. Not
they're
really.
they're not innately evil. They actually were created to help with something he was doing with magic and restoring balance. At least that's the story that I was told. He was drunk at the time he was telling the story too.
As for us,
As for you, sorry.
I guess we're well, as he starts to talk, he gets elbowed in the wrist. He's like, hey, we're, I guess, seeking to reclaim a lost city and throne.
Indeed, and perhaps a bit more than that. How much do you know about the world tree itself?
We know nothing, Mr. Joe.
The one that would know anything about it among us is not here.
He goes, and he picks up a fork, and he kind of holds it up, and he goes, "Now imagine that this is the trunk of the world tree, and along there are the normal rows of branches out from the center." Goes, each of those is its own realm, and in each of these realms is a version of reality. The higher upon the world tree, the closer the realm is to the emanations and the um, powers of law and good. And the further down the tree to the roots, to the realms of evil and chaos. And I'm not saying that evil and chaos are one and the same, simply that they share the lower realms.
Don't
Hereupon,
Okay, go ahead.
and he goes, hereupon, the right side of the tree has the influence of good, and the left side of the tree has the influence of evil. So you can get to some realms, and he taps the fork. He goes, where the forces of evil and chaos are the strongest. And you can get to some realms, and he taps up on the up, up in the opposite corner of the air, and he goes, where the influences of good and law are the strongest. Events are playing out in all the realms at all the time.
Rothgar peers kind of suspiciously at Joe and is like, and where does this place lie?
He goes,
Is this good or is it bad?
and he taps. He goes, well, Haven is outside it all, but your realm, and he taps the dead center. It goes, at least the realm that you were just brought in from. And that's the crux. Because that's the place where everything should be in balance. Otherwise, the forces of one side of the celestial are overtaking their bounds. So, of course, all of the forces are always constantly trying to overtake their bounds. And your father, Jaylin, as it's been explained to me, represented a change in the balance towards the good and towards law. And for a short and period of time, your realm was in real harmony under his influence, under the influence of him and your mother, Queen Janessa. And it should have lasted longer than it did. But following his death, what happened to your mother wasn't part of the realm itself. It involved the servants of Visano. And he goes, who is a demon lord that controls a realm. And he goes back down to the bottom lower left in his air pantomime. And he goes very far down here, who has successfully been working his way up the tree. The city of Farland, where you were taken to, was in the realm right above his own.
That
And
explains a lot.
we believe that he took you and those other children there, all in order to corrupt you and break you in ways that would enable you to be returned to this realm in a way that would, or return to your own home realm, that he was going to make a tyrant out of you. But forces beyond his control interfered. And I don't know exactly who and what it was. And from what I do understand of your story, it wasn't necessarily interference that was led to an easy life.
No. No, and I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily in the clear. I don't remember a lot of my life.
And Joe Joe nods. He goes, what I know of your life since you returned to the central realm, however, is that you and those of who managed to survive performed incredible acts of bravery and courage, and rarely killed when you didn't need to, and made allies along the way. Goes, because of events that I'm not quite understanding of, there appears to be an opportunity to repay you for some of the things that you've accomplished for the greater scheme of things.
And in okay, and what? In what way? Like, What do you mean?
Time flows like a river, and sometimes the current is slow, and sometimes the current is fast. We are going to be in a position tomorrow to take you out of this realm to a critical place in your life where you might be able to save at least one person that you love.
His expression just kind of darkens there for a second, just more serious. Just
If you and your companions wish to and go upon this quest, there isn't a lot that we can do to change the greater picture of things. And there's always risks when one is testing the fabric of fate.
he looks to the others. He goes, I know what I'm going to say, but I will not speak for you.
Kethra just looks at Jaylin and says, "You know where I'll be. My place is at your side, scrub."
Scrub.
And Rothgar looks between Joe and Jaylin, and he nods and he says, "As is mine. I have found my prince. I'm not abandoning him now."
Jaylin smiles at that. He's not expecting that. He's happy.
Kiss,
Yeah.
kiss, 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 kiss.
Who? Who?
You know who?
Wait, did Jaylin become a were-owl?
Yep. He turned into a were-owl there for a second. Lick their faces. Oh my god, he totally would do
Oh my
that.
god, yes.
Roll Constitution to see if you can
Roll
overcome the
Constitution
need to lick
to
those
overcome the urge
faces.
to lick their faces?
Do it!
Shut no!
Do it!
Does
No!
Rothgar have to as
You
well?
suggested it, now I'm making you roll it.
Does Rothgar have to
No!
as well?
Rothgar doesn't even get a roll. Rothgar, lick his face.
Yes. Really?
Okay, you can have a Constitution roll.
Okay. How kind of you, Laurel. Yes.
You do not lick each other's faces.
And Kethra just looks at the both and says, "All right, you two, back off. This is my prince." And I just kind of squish myself between them.
There's a deep, meaningful look between
Alexandra
Rothgar
also
and
does not
Jaylin.
lick each other's faces. Anyone's face either.
You get the infliction, please.
Lillith, do you want to roll?
Why would they have the urge to lick anybody's face?
You never know.
Because they're puppers. And puppers lick faces.
Lilith is a fairy. Do not question her.
And so
And Alexandra's a mage. She'll do anything to learn more about magic.
Kethers's not gonna roll. She's just gonna lick his face.
she's licking Jaylin's face. He looks at like, what the hell?
This is a fucking weird game, guys.
It really is. It really is. And he goes,
To be honest, at least we're not cross-dressing.
no, he's like, what the hell? And he's like, no, this is how you do it. And he kisses her.
And
That's in character, by the by.
as he's kissing her, there's a sound outside the building, like a nearby building, where suddenly there's a crashing sound and there's some cursing. And Joe goes, "Oh, Z's home." And he goes, "Don't worry about it. That happens all the time."
Oh my god, yes.
What? That's normal?
Yep. Yeah.
It sounded kind of painful.
She gets better.
Rothgar picks up his chair again because like he had just flew to his feet, like grabbed his axe, and yeah, he just like settles back down in his seat.
So tell me, Joe, is that the same treatment my grandfather got when he was here?
No. He never fell through the roof
Hmm.
on by anyone's power except his own.
Fair enough. He seemed to think that the dragons were against him, but it was probably just the alcohol.
It was the alcohol. He goes, however, I do have something for you, Alexandra. The last time he visited, your grandfather left one of his books behind.
Ooh, magic books?
I believe so.
Ooh, he never let me read his magic books.
And he goes, well, since I'm sure he was cheating at chess the last time he came, all the more reason for me to give it to you
I
to
can't.
take back to him at your convenience.
I can't respect a man who cheats at chess.
I could guarantee he was cheating at chess.
He goes, he's an old friend. And really, you know, it's better to have a cheating but generally good wizard as a friend than a evil wizard as an enemy.
To be honest, depending on what time of the week it is, he could be both.
Hell, there is never mind. And Joe kind of just nods and goes, but back to the back to the world tree. Goes, we believe that we're not sure why Visago puts so much effort into harming you and your family. Jaylin, what role you play in all of this, in the future as a king is kind of unknown. But you and Kethra have survived the demon lord's touch over and over again, which so we know that he's beginning to take it personally. And
I hope so.
Yeah, goes, it's my hope that within you both and the companions that protect your lives, and he looks around at the others, that you might be able to help us find a way to get Visago back down to his own realm and save the tree as a whole and put everything else in balance. I know that's no easy task, nor would it lie exclusively upon your shoulders.
This is, he's like, once again, this is well beyond me.
Rothgar looks at Joe and is like, "This Visago, was he the one behind the entrapment of my people?"
I believe he was.
And he like pounds his fist on the table and he's like, "I'm definitely in now."
Good. Goes, I know that once upon a time, my people guarded the Red Mountain before the dwarves made their gates, before your people dwelled within or were found in that area as well. But unfortunately, events over the last century have left me and my wife and children the last of our race. And that's no longer our job. We live here at Haven and tend to other things. goes, but I know that what your father was turned into, what they were going to do with the Aetherite there, would have been very, very, very bad.
Wait, that his father was turned into?
Corrupted into, perhaps. That might be
Yeah.
the better word.
Rothgar's dad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Jalen's dad for a second. I was
No,
like,
sorry.
wait.
No.
Rothgar's father. But I have my own suspicions that had Jaylin not been hidden by, well, first purchased and then found his way to Sidonia, that something very similar to him would have happened by the priesthood.
So could you imagine me becoming something like that? He goes, then he sets up Illustrator and he goes, Visago's taken nearly everything from me, and every day I learn of something more that's been taken. Because I'm going to put a stop to that.
He goes, then I hope that tomorrow's mission will go well. If there's anything that any of you require in terms of weapons, we have an excellent smith. We don't have the personnel right now to send with you, and I don't think doing so would be fair in terms of maintaining the balance. And maintaining the balance is very important right now. But I can give Alexandra her grandfather's book, and perhaps there will be something in there that may prove of use should the need arise.
Good magic. Very good magic.
She looks really happy right now, huh?
Yeah, she's like a kid in a candy store.
That causes a Jaylin to have a look of concern on his face, knowing his history with magic and knowing
And-
her kind of magic.
And he smiles at Lillith and goes, now, we've had fairies come and go through the area, and some of them have offered seeds as gifts, and we added them to their own special garden. And so there are some very interesting plants and fruits and vegetables that grow here in Haven now that come from the Fey realm, and you would be welcome to partake of them as much as you liked. And perhaps that might assist you in your quest tomorrow as well.
Oh yes,
Gosh,
that'll
way
be
to go,
very
Lillith.
helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And he smiles at the others and he goes, and we wouldn't refuse you for any of you for eating fairy food. I just don't recommend it. I tried it once and I turned myself blue and furry.
Jaylin just kind of looks down, like he's just like, nope, not touching that one. Don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about that.
Rothgar's just sitting kind of like cocking his head like a little puppy, trying to imagine Joe like blue and furry.
He gets elbowed.
It's like, hey, what?
But is there any other, do you have any specific questions that I might be able to answer, or anything that you wish to discuss with me before I turn you all loose?
I wish to know what's happening with my people. Are they going to be safe here?
Yes, they will. They will have the opportunities to rest and recover from what was done to them. And be here when you return.
And he nods his head. I thank you for that.
And goes, it is possible for us to send them with you, but I don't recommend it because Visago's touch was deeper in them than it was in you. And I would hate to see them retaken and turn on you.
And he smiles slightly and he says, "No, actually, I had a different plan. If we
Okay.
are to marshal and to fight whatever is to come, I would have them, as thanks to you, serve here as protectors and train, break this hold that they had, and get used to fighting as a unit, as a people, rather than the wildness that we were."
Absolutely. That can be arranged. We have several very talented knights, and who enjoy teaching their skills to others. It wouldn't, given that they're already exceptional warriors, but they need perhaps to be brought closer into the balance and the sense of law and harmony. Um, our our knights of Ardio, who serve the goddess of defense and protection, would be exceptional at doing so.
Ardio. Yeah. Jaylin repeats the name quietly, though.
And it's
Sounds perfect.
good. Then that's what we will do.
Jaylin turns to Rothgar and goes, "Well, if your people are safe here, and we have the dwarves relying on us as well, to come, they're gonna come to our call at least. Then we only have tomorrow's mission ahead of us. This could mean," and he's really nervous about it because he's trying not to outwardly acknowledge the fact that he could mess up and make things even worse.
And he goes, "And when you return tomorrow, there's another old acquaintance of yours who might have some of her own resources to offer you. But we'll save that for your return."
He looks the others. Okay.
Rothgar just shrugs. He's no idea who your old acquaintances are.
Yeah, that's why he's looking at Kethra. It's like looking at Kethra, It's like maybe Sidonia. I don't know. Sidonia's been around. All right. He goes. So I assume that we're going back to the night of the attack.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
And he gets up and he takes Lillith and whoever else wants to accompany to the fairy garden.
Rothgar says, "Nope. I'm not eating any fairy fruit."
Before he leaves,
Mm-hmm.
Joe, do you know if there is any way I could get a message out of here? I'm not exactly familiar with this realm.
Yes, absolutely.
Where would I send this message then?
Or I should say, do you want it to be a written message? Or a verbal message?
Written, ideally. I don't particularly want to speak to my grandfather, but I'm sure he'd love to prepare for a siege.
And a a fire lizard who had been kind of hanging out rusting nearby, he just kind of looks at her and calls her name. And Laurel's forgotten the name of the Joe's fire lizard.
Amber.
Fail. Amber. Thank you. And Amber. And he goes, "This is Amber. And she will faithfully take your message for you." And
Alright,
and then he
she's
goes, "Oh, Amber, go get the book, please." And she vanishes, and then she comes back, and it's a slim by magical tome standards book that is covered in uh, a silver shining skin and has arcane runes on the front of it. And she just deposits it in Alexandra's hands and then brings her some paper and a pen or a quill.
and Alexandra's just gonna scroll down her message of preparing for a battle and finding the prince and ending up in Haven.
Excellent. And Amber is off to the archwizard with the message. Now, Lillith, in the fairy garden, there is all kinds of exotic and wonderful smelling fruits and vegetables. But there is one in particular that you haven't had for a long time. Tell me what it looks like and tell me what it does.
It is an orange berry. They grow sort of in bunches, sort of like grapes, but it's much smaller than like bunches of grapes.
Mm-hmm.
Almost looks like big raspberries, really. It's like a mix between raspberries and a bunch of grapes, but it's orange.
Okay.
Very, very bright orange. They are called snozberries.
Of course they are.
Snozberries.
They taste like
They
snozberries.
taste like nice. Yeah, yeah.
And they sort of act like Tinkerbell's fairy dust in the sense that it lets mundane people fly around for a little bit. But in fairies, it tastes really, really good. It probably doesn't taste that good to non-fairies. But it tastes really, really good. And it has the side effect of increasing the power of certain stories, let's say.
Excellent. So you are going to feast on your heart's content on snozberries and give yourself uh uh plus uh +1 forward or +1 ongoing as you're telling your stories during the rest of this session.
Can I pocket some snozberries?
You can pocket some snozberries too.
Yay!
Just
How
in
many
case.
snozberries do I get?
You get your belly fill and you're able to pocket 12 of them.
Ooh.
Wrap them up in a little bit of a, yeah. I was going to say wrap them up in a little silk handkerchief.
It's my
Keep
snozberry stack.
Kethra, roll wisdom for me.
Woohoo!
So once everything kind of settles down and people eat and talk and you're sleeping in a real bed, are you sharing that bed with Jaylin?
What?
Mhm.
Maybe.
I'm gonna say yes.
You have one of your dream vision
Uh-oh.
from Belle.
Are we saying that this is a vision that she has in her dream, or this is a vision of her dreams?
This is a vision in her dreams.
Ah,
She has a dream vision. Basically, she's asleep um, and you are hovering in the air, and you see a carriage going by, and there are a couple of the Visago's cultists on a bridge, and uh, they cast a spell in the center of the bridge, and then depart and kind of move off into the bushes. And a royal carriage goes over the bridge, and as it does, there's kind of an explosion, and it's thrown off, and it crashes down into the side of the river, and the horses are um, badly wounded, and out of all of the brush come charging um, orcs and ogres, and you see them attack the shattered carriage and pull a pair of children out. And you recognize at least the boy and guess who the girl is. And your vision ends. And it's morning. It's early morning. And Jaylin is curled up with his uh, back to you, and you just feel the warmth of him. And as he's breathing, it appears that he is having a dream himself, but it doesn't look like it's a pleasant one.
Silver, I swear to God, if Z drops through the roof. Sorry to kill the moment.
No.
Jaylin is not in a good way.
No, Kethra is going to see that Jaylin is not in a good way. And she's just gonna turn over. She's like gonna turn over and just kind of put a hand on his shoulder, and just kind of like try to comfort him and be like, "Shh, it's okay, Jaylin. It's all right. You're here. I'm here. Wake up."
Jaylin,
Mm-hmm.
what are you dreaming about?
So, I guess if I had to decide, thank you for this, by the way.
You're absolutely
Cooperative narrative game. Anyways, he was basically just told at that meeting the reason that he's been kind of like down the entire day is that he lost his entire family that day, and he got told that he could save one. So he's having a nightmare about like having to choose mother or sister. He knows he can't save his father.
Can I ask a couple of out of character questions to get this right in my mind?
Okay.
Sure.
This attack on the carriage, where did that happen? In Lothric or Farland? And is Lothric in Farland or is it in the middle world?
Lothric
It
is
happened
in the middle
in
world.
Lothric. Yeah.
And it happened in Lothric. So basically what happened is this attack happened. The kids were taken from the cart.
To
Jaylin
Farland.
somehow ended up in Farland. He doesn't know where his sister
Right,
ended
okay.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And there's a hand on your shoulder, and you hear Kethra's voice.
Does he wake up?
I leave that up to you.
Constitution roll. He's actually, despite the fact that like he feels warm to her, he's shivering. He does actually wake up though. but it's not like a sudden start. It's not. It's just like he just kind of opens his eyes and it's just like, oh, but he doesn't really move. Kind of like the like the I just saw a ghost sort of thing. Yeah.
Kethra, you have a trembling Jaylin. What do you do?
And after the vision that I have seen, I'm not quite gonna tell him what I saw. I'm gonna squeeze his shoulder and just say, I know what happened. I think I know how we can stop this.
He's gonna shake his head and he goes, no, it can't be. It can't be stopped. No. There's no way to stop it. No. No. No.
Jaylin, listen to me. I saw the whole thing. And she just forgets about not wanting to tell him and just spills her guts and tells him everything she saw in her vision.
And what are we supposed to do about that? He goes, I see it every time I close my eyes, I see that. It's all I can remember.
You see from the inside of the carriage. I saw this from the outside of the carriage. I know what happened.
He goes, if you really think, he goes, I don't know what to trust anymore. So this is on you. He goes, at least I know. Like, if you really think this, then yeah. All right, what are we doing? And he sits up, like just like nothing happened.
I guess we're getting the others. We need to form a plan.
Alexandra, you had a book of magic to look through and read. How much sleep did you get?
None.
That's what I expected. Roll intelligence.
Yay. Nope, that's the wrong sheet.
That's an amazing roll. This book isn't dark magic. This is white magic. It is spells that and philosophies behind them and sort of magical theory and whatnot into an entirely different kind of magic that is incredibly harmful to evil creatures and
Oh.
very good towards creatures that in helping innocents and whatnot. And having only one night to read it, you can't so much unlock all of its secrets. Um, but you have access now for this day, as long as you keep the book, kind of hold the book, and it has basically 3 uses, kind of like another book, to cast white magic the way you cast black magic. So basically, you'll make your normal rolls and get creative with spells that are actually the opposite, uh, metaphysically, than what you've been taught to cast, and you can do it 3 times.
Okay. I like this.
Excellent. Excellent. And Rothgar and Lilith, did anything interesting happen to either of you over the course of the evening?
Yeah, I was trying to think for Rothgar. I can't really think of anything that he really needs. More because I don't think he'd be willing to give up like his axe and stuff
Mm-hmm.
to replace it or anything. So I feel like he's probably just been speaking um with his clan and putting someone in charge when he's not around, and just telling him the plan of them going to be training here, and that these just to listen to them and start learning to fight as a people. So I think he's probably just been dealing with setting them up.
Excellent. Roll charisma.
Roll charisma.
And the person that you are putting in charge, who is Azar, um, he's nodding and he's agreeing with you, but you can see that he's a little uncertain about this whole plan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he waits until you both have sent the others to basically get food and companionship if they so choose it, and basically kind of revel and sleep. And quietly to you, Asgar says, he goes, "But why so much change? It's like he might be a prince, but why do we have to give up who we are for him?"
And he looks at him kind of sternly, and he's like, "Don't you realize this isn't us giving up who we are? This is returning to who we are. We once served that royal family. We were once proud warriors, not just the feral beasts that we have become." And
You're
like
cutting out,
someone
Marco.
spits the word. Oh, really?
Yeah. You just got robot there at the end.
God damn it. Is it better now?
I think so. I can't tell.
Okay.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he just says that that we are returning to who we are. Um, that we once heard war protectors of, and we lost that when we lost the family, and then we have become just these feral beasts under that priest, and the things that we have done. Um, we are returning to that now.
And he nods again and he goes, you are the alpha. And he goes, and I you have my respect. Goes, but this had better prove to be a good path, Alpha, or I will challenge you in the future and take us back.
And Rothgar just nods his head and is like, "So be it. If you think that is best, I will accept your challenge."
He goes, I will, I will give this time. I will trust you for now.
And he claps on the shoulder and says, "Good. is if nothing else, there is things we can learn from being here.
That is true. And they have much food and beautiful women. And he grins.
As does Rothgar, and he like claps him on the back.
He goes. And Lillith, any interesting adventures over the course of the night for you? Nope.
I don't know. That could be an interesting adventure.
Alrighty. Morning comes and the group reassembles. And Lillith is glowing just a bit. It looks like she's full of energy, Fey energy, and is just even more perky than normal. She clearly had a very restful night. Alexandra, on the other hand, has that sort of caffeine high, a student just wrote their term paper look to them.
She's still looking for the book even as she's walking.
And Joe is present again with Amber and says, "You've got a return message."
Already? Good, good. How long's it been?
10 hours?
Wait, what? How can it have been 10 hours? I've not slept yet.
And he points to the sun in the sky.
I thought that thing was always up there.
Wizards. Joe just smiles at everybody and goes, "Lucky for you, we have this wonderful beverage here called coffee."
We have it at home. I think Grandfather stole it from you.
It might actually have been a gift to him, some of the coffee beans.
But yes, what did he have to say for himself? Is he drunk again?
Actually, I haven't read it. It's a message for you. And it's written on paper. And they're just 2 words. Fine, fine.
I think that's a yes. I'm not sure.
Joe nods. He goes, "If it's not a no, it's probably a yes."
Well, you see, with Grandfather, you can never tell, because yes even means no with him.
I like to think he's going to be taking this seriously, at least.
One can hope. Now, where's the coffee?
Over here. And there's a table. And a pretty young cat girl is pouring and serving food and smiling at everybody.
Pook, I don't know if you missed the thing I had wrote in Roll20 chat.
Yeah, it's because he was kind of brought to another scene, but no, he would actually not take
Yeah.
it back.
Okay, I just wanted to clear up who had it. I don't know if it, I don't think it'll come in handy, but just so we know who's got it.
Yeah, he actually probably just clapped Rothgar on the shoulder and says, "That belongs to you now."
And Rothgar looks kind of like, I guess, kind of like uncomfortable. Like he's never really been given something like that before. He's kind of touched.
Yeah, it's the Final Fantasy XIV ERP cat girl that's serving the tables right now. She has a very extensive emote vocabulary. Yeah.
And Joe opens a box and takes out of it 5 necklaces, each with a little crystal shard upon it, and hands offers one to each of you.
I'm gonna take
And
a look
he
at
goes,
it.
he goes, these have been imbued with the ability to pass through time and place. It's not a it's an art and not a perfect science of getting you to um the scene where your family was taken. I can't guarantee exactly when you'll get there, but the person who gave these to me, and he presents Jaylin with an extra one, promised that it would be in time to make a difference. And whoever you're going to bring back, hopefully bring back here with you, um, put this around their neck as well.
Jaylin is looking very thoughtful at that.
Rothgar turns to Jaylin and says, if we don't know how much time we're going to have, what do you remember of that night? What do we have to do?
He goes, I remember the commotion. I remember an argument. I think it was between my mom and dad, but then there was someone else there. And I remember there's not a lot, because I remember them being really mad at each other and him insisting that she go, and then I remember her grabbing both me and my sister. We didn't stop for anything. I remember he goes, we were in the carriage next. I don't know why. She was telling me that I was going to have to be the big brother and take care. And he goes, and then it turned over, and it was like this loud crash, and that's it. He goes, that's it. Next thing I know, I'm in Farland. It's the next thing I can recall. And he looks to Kethra and he goes, she has an idea or a plan, maybe.
Oh,
Well, I don't necessarily have a plan so much as I know what happened to the carriage. I know what happened, the events leading up to Jaylin being taken to Farland. And she just basically explains what she saw in her vision. And after she's done telling everybody what happened, she says, depending on how quickly we get to wherever it is we're going before, I don't know if we can prevent it or stop it, but we knowing what's going to happen will give us an edge. And then she turns to Jaylin and says, something else to consider. If we can't stop it, we still have the locket with your sister's soul in it. There may still be a way to save her once this is done.
how was Jaylin looking as he was describing the night?
He's not looking well. He's not. He's looking like this is basically the only memories he was allowed to keep are of a tragedy. Like, this is something that's haunted him for years, and he's being asked, one, to describe it, and two, to go face it.
Yeah. So Rothgar walks over and lays a hand on his shoulder and kind of squeezes. Are you going to be able to do this?
I have to. There's no other way. I have to. Kind of is clenching the extra necklace he's got, and he goes, I have to pick one.
Rothgar just nods.
Well, let's get this show on the road.
And Joe takes you guys to the cliffside, overlooking the sea. And he goes, "This will take a moment of faith, and need all of you to just keep your crystals around your neck, and take a deep breath, and run and jump."
Rothgar places a hand on Jaylin, and he's like, "Allow me, Prince." And like he like closes his eyes, takes a deep breath. It's just like, I can't believe I'm about to do this, and then just sprints towards the cliff.
Goes over the side.
He
Yes.
goes over the side. You see him shimmer and vanish.
Wow. Jaylin turns to Kethra and goes, "Come fly with me." And he makes a running leap. Screaming as he goes out. Ah!
Oh, she just shakes her head. Boys. She turns back to Alexandra and to Lillith and says, "Ladies, shall we?"
Why not? Seems fun.
Lilith is gonna pull something out of her pocket and hand Kethra and Alexandra a couple of snozberries.
Ooh, snacks for the journey?
Something like that. And then Lilith is gonna fly over the edge. Because Lilith has wings.
And Lilith flies perfectly beautifully and shimmers and vanishes.
Ketra's gonna shrug and toss the Ketra's gonna pop the berry in her mouth and run at the cliff.
And you don't fall at all like the boys, you know how they descended a bit and then they vanished? You just go straight off the edge and vanish. Alexandra, do you eat your berries first or last?
After seeing that, Alexandra then eats the berry and is just like, what the fuck do these things do?
Oh, I know what they do now.
And you take off and allow me to open something up for you guys. Reveal area.
Ooh, veal. Wait, what?
Ooh, I like veal. Actually, I'm not sure I've ever had veal.
And Rothgar, you are the first to land.
Yes.
And you see, we'll move you right there. You see a scene involving some figures on a bridge, a shattered carriage, a boy being drug away, kicking and screaming by an ogre in one direction, and a young girl being pulled out, being drug away by a goblin in another, and a woman who is kind of in the middle of the ruined carriages, casting a spell, yelling. And everybody else appears right behind him and sees the same thing. And Kethra, it is definitely the children from your dream.
Rothgar curses. And he's like, enough time to change things, only just.
Can Rothgar roll to restrain Jaylin?
I was going to say, Jaylin, maybe it's time for a Constitution roll.
No, I'm forgoing the roll. He is. Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's failing the roll. He's failing that one.
Yeah. After what Jaylin said to him back in Haven, when he had asked, "Are you going to be able to do this?" Like, yeah, the answer I have no choice was not really what Rothgar wanted to hear. So he had been going to keep a close eye on Jaylin anyway, because he knows obviously what it's like to let that kind of inner beast out. So yeah, he would be, especially when they arrived on a scene like this, kind of ready for it, I guess. So
yeah,
he can definitely go for a restraint on Jaylin.
Okay, yeah, because Jaylin like explodes right into. He's just werewolf, just like that.
He's just werewolf. He's okay.
Yep.
You can use charisma. Strength to grab him.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
there you go. Yeah,
You have the necklace. You can use charisma with a +1 forward. Actually,
Okay.
+2 forward because you've got him so well restrained to pull him back into control.
Yeah. So as soon as they land and see the scene, his immediate reaction is, "Oh God," and just turns to basically bear hug Jaylin.
Oh.
That's another trope.
So
all right.
Basically, it starts with him basically struggling as much as the younger him is struggling at the same time. Like that's where it is right there. Like he's almost
very similar pose.
Yeah, yeah. Only he starts to slow down, and he's just panting and not fighting anymore, and just staring at what's playing out in front of him.
So all the others here is basically just a growl coming from Rothgar, and it's so against his nature because he's really now full on accepting Jaylin as like his leader, his prince. But he's kind of like seeing what he's like and is bringing all his kind of power as an alpha and everything, just trying to dominate Jaylin, I guess. Not so much to cow him, but to bring him back to himself. Like, this is not the time for the beast. We need Jaylin, not the wolf.
Yeah, he stays in the werewolf form, but he stops fighting. He's now just watching.
Yeah.
Okay, just 1 second as I'm Elle wants to pass an idea by me. All right. Elle, roll your normal spell cast. Yes. So, describe what you're doing, and I'm going to give it a downside.
Alright. Basically, Alexandra has just whipped out the book as soon as she's seen this, what's going on, and is casting a spell towards the younger version of Jaylin. And she's intending to cast a protective seal on him.
And the protective seal protects his mind and his spiritual purity, but the downside is he will suffer some everything else is going to be vague and hazy for his memories for a while. Like, this is why he ends up losing memories.
Oh.
any idea that's going on.
You know that that Alexandra just cast a spell that doesn't look like the one that she cast.
Okay.
At the same time, your mother is casting a spell at one of the people on the bridge.
Okay.
And he's casting back, and their spells. You know how there's that always the synaptics of two spells hit each other right in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're having a DBZ beam battle.
Yeah.
And this fellow spots you all and lets out a bolt in the direction of Jaylin and Rothgar.
I attempt to catch it.
Okay, defy danger for me, and use Dex, and if you get a 10 or better, you actually get the bolt.
13.
Oh, nice.
What would you like to do with it?
He's going to snap it in half, and he's going to charge.
Charge now.
Werewolf angry. Jaylin smash. Would you like me for the roll for that hack and slash?
Please.
Oh.
These are always the best moments.
You charge, and it's incredibly close. Like you charge it, or I should say the goblin is fast, and it manages to avoid you. But it does not have time to fire another arrow. So it tries to actually whack you with its crossbow. Whacking a werewolf isn't a particularly smart thing to do. So roll 1d4 damage.
Oh, look, I have armor.
Yeah. You soak all of it, don't you?
Yep.
I was gonna say, was there any point rolling it?
No,
I
probably
just like
not.
rolling 1d4 because they're caltrops, and now there's a caltrop on the map.
All right. Kethra, Alexandra,
Yes.
Lillith, you are all in the air, flying.
Whee!
Alexandra was busy spell casting. Lillith and Kethra, what would you guys like to do?
Kethra would like to cast Magic Missile at the center of the bridge where the other people are fighting against Jaylin's mother.
Do it. Bam. Which of the two would you like to hit? The one that's closest? Yes. Roll damage.
Hang on, Magic Missile's different damage. I'm trying to find it again. 2d4, okay.
Woo!
Wow, these dice today.
He had mage armor up, but that was enough. The blast itself trashed his mage armor and threw him off the bridge into the water. And so he has basically been plunked in and is dazed. He will not be taking an action.
Yay.
Lillith is going to tell a story.
Excellent.
I love little stories.
Once upon a time, there were evil, stinky orcs trying to kidnap an innocent person. But what they didn't know is that hiding in the woods, there was a secret army of werewolf superheroes. And when they least expected it, the werewolf superheroes came out of the woods and attacked them.
What?
And I get +1 forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So 9. Laurel?
Yes.
Let's see here. 7 to
Dude.
9.
Do Jaylin and Rothgar become superheroes?
Oh my god, yes.
No. Well,
Aw.
because they already are. The second I need to do something to the map, because if I'm going to add tokens, I'm going to want to have grid back on.
Oh shit, did I roll for my fucking... I didn't roll for my fucking fables. Okay, hold on. Wait, I have to roll for fables.
Right, Shard?
No capes!
Okay, I still only get 2 fables because I suck at rolling for fables.
Hey, Kara.
And I'm gonna, because I have to pick a downside on a 7 to 9.
Yes. So what's the downside?
I'll
Actually, go ahead.
I'll pick the downside that telling such an epic tale tires you, and you get -1 to any other fables you cast before you make camp.
Gotcha. Out of the forest appear a bunch of werewolves. But these werewolves aren't barbarians like Rothgars. They are dressed in tabards and have swords and armor, and they're wearing the Taus family symbol. And they appear to be wolf knights that were in pursuit of the carriage and had been sent to protect the queen and the children. And they have gotten to the scene a little late, but they are now there.
Ooh, is this like my ancestors, basically?
Yeah, these are, or a branch of um a branch of a different, maybe a different tribe that had gone
Mhm.
with the Taus and had been serving them faithfully. So you see the potential of what your people can be.
Well, that's
Awesome,
what
okay.
his people were at one point, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically the ancestry.
Yeah, so, Jaylin... Okay, Martkos, I have an idea.
Oh, I
Well,
like ideas.
if these are people like him, and he's an alpha among them, and you
Mhm.
also have the prince who has the sword, why don't we both give a little bit of a rallying cry? See what we can
I
do.
like this idea. I like this idea.
Which of you would like to give or which of you would like to aid and assist the other with a rallying cry? Whoever has the highest charisma should probably be the main one. And then the other one just roll an aid and assist.
My charisma is 14, so I have a +1.
Mine is 12.
Okay. Roll aid and assist, Rothgar.
Okay.
Ooh, that's another +1 on this. So
Yep.
+2 is 9. So he's gonna even though the goblin is trying to beat on him and doing no damage, he draws his sword. And...
See where like Jaylin is down in the river?
Uh-huh.
Like is there much of a banking there? Like is it a drop or like I
Ooh.
guess I see there's like a shadow under the bridge kind of thing, so
There's a drop.
yeah,
About
okay.
6.
So
I would say about 8 feet. 6 to 8
okay.
feet depending upon where one jumps.
So basically Rothgar just sprints towards the edge, much as he'd done back in Haven, and just leaps off it down into the group of orcs, and just like bellows out, get your hands off my prince as he does so. And that's kind of like his cry out, his challenge, his assist, I guess, that kind of rallies the
Yeah.
wolves and stuff.
Yeah, so he yells that, and like Jaylin up top hearing that raises the sword in the air and lets out a howl.
Excellent. The all of the orcs and whatnot are now in combat with other people. The one that has Josephine, it has a werewolf tearing into his back, and you see your little self pull out a dagger and stabs at the orc that is, or the ogre that has him.
Oh, me.
And the dagger isn't strong enough, it's like to penetrate the ogre's hide.
Oh.
But it Rothgar being there and challenging him pisses the ogre off, and the ogre flings you to the side into the water and charges at Rothgar. Rothgar, roll defy danger.
Okay. I
As
can never remember what the defy danger stuff comes down to.
you actually describe how you're avoiding him charging at you, and you may make
Yeah.
a roll based on that. Most of it is like dex based because it's dodging, but occasionally you can defy another.
He's not avoiding it though. He just starts sprinting towards the ogre and just goes to grapple him.
So you're defying
Like,
danger
he's just
based
full
on
on, like,
Constitution.
Yeah.
just by enduring through it. He's just gonna match strength with this thing. 7.
Okay. You miss its first swing, misses you. But there's another on the side that is swinging its sword. Take 1d6 damage.
Okay.
Also, I'm being called out because I was not asked to, and I did not roleplay the howl, so I'm ruining Azu's immersion.
5 damage.
All right. How much does you have armor? How much does that soak?
Currently I have 4.
Okay, so take 1 point of damage. It just
Okay.
barely scrapes you by, and now you can roll your hack and slash.
Okay. Where am I up to currently? So I'm at 3rd stage. Okay. Yeah, so he kind of like grunts a little at the poke he got, I guess, from the sword, but ignores it and just heaves the axe round to the ogre, his original kind of target. So 9, and then 10, and 2 of that is piercing.
Awesome. Roll your damage. Or no, that is the
That was
damage. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the damage.
That is a solid hit. That would have killed a lesser creature than an ogre. But that is still a very good wound. Meanwhile, Jaylin, the wizard that's on the still on the bridge, curses and says something and makes a gesture. And the boy snaps right up with him.
I would like to try to interrupt that. Or intervene, I suppose.
You can race to them.
Might I shove this goblin aside as I do it? Like, I want to push him off the bridge and go back.
Yes. Sure.
So I'm calling like all of this movement one roll. So I guess yeah. So push,
Yep.
charge, yeah. All right.
And
She
take a -1 just based on the difficulty of it all, but roll your strength.
11.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well enough. He goes off the bridge. And you're going to reach that fellow. In the meantime,
More targets for Rothgar. Yay.
yeah, you really. Alexandra, your spell worked. And you're not sure exactly how. It's a new kind of magic. All of this is going on very, very swiftly. But you're flying in the air, so you have a great vantage point. What would you like to do?
Hmm. Go to the others first.
Okay, well, Kethra,
Yes.
what would you like to do?
Hmm. I think, if I may, I would like to try for another magic missile.
Absolutely. At who?
I am actually going to be aiming for these guys up over around the carriage near Jaylin's mother.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to fail.
Oh, there we go.
The missile doesn't hit any friendly targets. It just misses them like a normal missile.
Yay.
And this archer, however, spots it and is going to fire at you. And roll 1d6 damage.
Awesome.
And Kethra has some kind of armor nowadays, doesn't
She has 1 armor.
Yeah, so take 2. It basically grazes you in the arm. Lillith. And if you're going to tell another fable right now, then I'm gonna go to Jaylin first because of how fast he's moving. But if you're taking some kind of physical action, let me know.
I don't think I'm gonna be telling any more fables right now.
Okay.
But I am going to use Glamorous Deceit.
Ooh.
I've got the Forest Dweller move on top of that, so I can transform into woodland creatures, is how it puts it.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or not Forest Dweller, sorry, Nature Sprite. Nature Sprite lets me do that. Forest Dweller lets me talk to animals.
Gotcha.
So I am going to attempt to turn into a wolf because I totally count that as a woodland creature.
Absolutely.
Especially in these woods.
Yeah, especially in these woods. So I'm gonna roll that. Hold on. Charisma, go. 7.
Yes. You become a wolf. Is there a downside on a 7?
There's a downside, yeah. On a 7 to 9, your glamorous transformation goes awry and you turn into a humanoid appearance of the GM's choice. You become stuck in this altered appearance till you have an extended rest, or you draw unwanted attention at the moment of your transformation.
Congratulations, you have turned into a werewolf.
Oh.
A very small werewolf.
I'm okay with this.
So you are about a 3-foot tall, 4-foot tall werewolf, and you
Fuck
have
yeah.
no wings.
Oh shit.
So you are now grounded.
Can I have control of my token?
Yes.
No, your token is also Jaylin Toss.
Oh, goddamn
it. That's the secret. He's actually been 2 characters all along. So he's
Dun,
in this
dun,
scene 3
dun.
times. He's in this scene 3 times, guys.
Let's try that again. There you
Okay.
go.
Hold
You
on,
have
it's
control of your
becoming a running joke that each week Jaylin is someone new.
I'm gonna run up here and I'm just gonna howl to try and intimidate the bad guys, the orcs and goblins and shit.
Excellent. So, among all the other howls, you now hear an adorable half-pint feminine howl
Can we get
from
a
Lillith.
Can we get a role play of that one?
All right, Jaylin, make your hack and slash.
Ah. Sorry, he's not happy. This is with the no, wait, the sword. I need to. Well, it's still +2. Okay, so 8.
Roll your damage.
Okay. Two of this is piercing. 6.
He takes the 2 piercing and a little bit more, and he is at as you're striking and he's trying to get out of the way and you grab him, he shouts a name and he goes, Boras, and he pushes the boy, throws him off the bridge,
No!
splashing into the water. And you can feel the hit like it's yourself hitting the water hard from a 14-foot drop.
I double over. Like,
Oh.
oh.
And the other mage who had been stunned last round is getting out of the water, and he whips something out of his pocket and throws a red stone into the air. And when he throws that red stone, he starts chanting some words. And in the air, above everyone there, appears a demonic form. And the demonic form grabs the boy and vanishes. And Jaylin, roll your constitution. I know you're already on the ground.
12.
You do not lose consciousness, and you are not knocked out of your war form.
Okay.
But you sense that tearing of reality, of your other self, of basically you yourself, is torn from this realm. And you are out of commission for 1d4 rounds. Roll a 1d4. 1 round.
1 round.
Whew.
All right.
He's like, I know it's going to be hard, but you're going to get back here and you're going to save yourself. And that's what he says.
Rothgar, pick a target.
Do I see Jaylin get grabbed?
Probably not, because you're probably surrounded down and you're down below.
Okay. Okay, yeah, then I am just fighting with this ogre still then. How big is this thing compared to me?
It is about 10 feet tall. How
Okay,
big
yeah.
are you in a werewolf form?
Let's see. He's just over 6 foot in human form, so I guess 8 feet ish.
Okay.
About that. Okay. Yeah. So he's still going for him. He's the biggest target. Yeah. So he's just going for him. And he's just going to leap at him again. He's actually, yeah. Well, actually, I'm not in my werewolf form yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm still in my human form. So he's just going to like leap up at him and try and bring the axe down on like his kind of shoulder.
Oh yeah.
So 13, okay, and that for damage. Yeah, not very much damage.
It's a solid hit. Ogre hide is just apparently really tough.
Yeah.
And however, it staggers under the force of the blow, and it's not able to retaliate.
I'd just say at that point, that's me hit my 5. So, like when he like leaps back from hitting him, he sees how little impact it had on him, and he just like roars at it, and that's when he shifts.
Okay.
So the whole like tearing skin and yeah, and he is now werewolf form.
Excellent. Alexandra, all of this just happened.
Yes, and I have a rather crazy idea.
Okay. I like crazy ideas.
So Alexandra would have flown up as high as she can in the air, and is now using the book to channel magic into the sky itself to try and create a holy rain.
Ooh. Roll your intelligence. Yes. The sky starts to clouds start to appear, and a storm is about to begin. Meanwhile, Kethra,
Yes.
you see Jaylin went down. This figure, whoops, nope. Like,
Yay, I'm on the bridge.
Yay!
like, no, what have I
I'm in
done?
a tree.
What have I done? There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, let's get that back to the
It might take some slight adjustments, but here we are.
map loop. All right, slight adjust. You know, I'm good at this.
GMs adjust, please.
All right. Oh, we'll speak later, sir.
God damn it.
This fellow has turned, and Jaylin is on the floor. Kethra, and he is taking an axe, and he's hauling it up, and he's going to try and bring it down on Jaylin's neck.
Yeah, I can't have that. Yeah, I'm really afraid to hit Jaylin with botched magic missiles, so I'm gonna try to fly that direction because I'm not on the freaking ground yet. And you know what? I'm just gonna pull out my wolf sword and try to stab him.
Do it. You can do that all in this.
There's a flyby stat. Oh.
God damn it!
You stab one of them.
Not
Sorry,
always.
Jaylin.
Nah.
You fly at him, and you become the target.
No.
I'm okay with this.
I'm not okay with this.
You're on the ground, sir. You're out of commission. You don't get a say.
I'm going to talk to you later
Because
about
she's
this.
not used to
What?
flying yet.
1d10 damage.
Oh. No!
No! Why?
Axe goes solid into Kethra. and the impact of the blow lands her right on top of Jaylin. Jaylin, your Kethra has an axe in her and she's being killed literally on top of you. Meanwhile, however, Lillith.
Okay, so Kethra seems to have gotten herself in a bit of a spot.
Yes, she has.
So I'm gonna go and try and save her.
Excellent. You can make a running pounce to knock the axeman and try and end hopefully the axe itself right off of her with a hack and slash.
Strength.
Yes. And you get a +1 because you are a wolf and the rallying howl magic and whatnot that's going on. You are affected by it.
Oops.
No!
You pounce him, but apparently you're so small that it makes nothing, and he just knocks you to a side, and he is lifting up to take another action. Jaylin,
Yes.
you can act.
Let's see. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just tear right into him. Let's just tear right into the son of a bitch. No, no, he's going sword again. He's actually going to try to bring the sword, like he's trying to pull himself up enough that he's just going to jab upward with the sword.
Okay.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Roll your damage.
All right, so this is going to be 1d10 plus 1d8 plus 1d4, 2 piercing. 14.
You literally slash up and cut him in half. You're able to cut him in half with one arm and clasp the wounded Kethra to you in the other, protectively.
And he's going to expend the 2 balance he got from the 2 times he just dealt damage to heal Kethra. 1d4 for each of those.
Excellent.
And he heals her for 4. And he's just, basically kind of like kneeling and holding her, and yeah, in his arms.
Aww.
Kethra?
Yes.
Roll 1d6. You are healed up 2 more.
Okay.
You feel a second healing spell hit you. And it begins to rain. As it begins to rain, all the orcs and demons and cultists start to scream. And the good werewolves, the rain hits their coats, their pelts, and they just start to shimmer and glow. And the rain is cast over all of you. The little girl breaks free and she gets to her mother. And as she gets to her mother and the queen wraps her arms around, Kethra, you feel that locket that you've been keeping possession of vanish. Roll wisdom. It vanished because because Josephine's fate just changed, and she never becomes corrupted.
Oh shit.
So something big in fate itself just changed. It doesn't take long thereafter for the good wolves to finish everything up. And Alexandra, the rain itself just pours down over it all, and you yourself perhaps have always been a girl of questionable morals, or at least magic has been the what you've always been trying to ascertain. Committing this act, helping these people, getting involved with all of Jaylin, doing this spell, gives you this feeling of uplifted and exultation, whereas black magic has always felt good in a certain way. This is a feeling of good in a completely different way. This is a feeling of connected with the world itself. And as the rain just pours down, um, and covers you, something changes in your appearance. What is it that changes?
Hmm. I think probably her hair.
Does her hair become a pure silvery white?
Yes.
Yes, I like that. And the the cultist that had remained, and that had summoned the demon and used his spell, cries out, "No!" And the but the water is just burning him like acid. And his own magic, he doesn't have enough time as the rain devours away his skin and his bones and just leaves him into basically nothingness. Um and now it is just the good guys left.
Yay.
And
We did it.
the wolf knights, all most of them go to the queen, but one of them comes up to the bridge
Uh-oh.
and is staring at the sword in Jaylin's hand and goes, "Your Majesty?"
He shakes his head. And he changes back to his human form.
And you hear a voice you've only heard in your dreams go, "Who? Jaylin?"
Forget all those rules of time travel. Out of character comment right there. He's and he's still not moving from holding Kethra, even though like she's been healed, like she's not completely healed. So he's still holding her, and he nods and he's, yes, yeah, I am Jaylin.
And that's Kethra. You're both grown up. Was this to save him? And she's like looking at Alexandra, who's probably still are you in the air or have you come down?
Honestly, she would have landed at this point.
And goes, I am grateful to you all for saving me and my children.
Jaylin is actually crying. He doesn't know what to say. So am I, actually.
And like she grabs you and pulls you into a mother's embrace. And Kethra too is like trying to hold you both. And your sister Josephine is like looking all around and going, that was scary, Mother. And then she goes, oh, I see a fairy. And she goes, we were saved by the fairies.
Da, 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 da.
The little girl wiggles out of her mother's arm. And the queen is looking at Rothgar.
I was gonna say Rothgar like walks up the banking and is like onto the bridge, and as he does, he's kind of like shifting back in his human form. And he just walks up and he's grumbling. He's like, "All right, which one of you is responsible for that accursed rain? I almost had that bugger." Thinking of the ogre that he almost got to kill, but somebody melted it with rain apparently.
Alexandra's just gonna hide behind a tree.
And Alexandra zips off. And
Jaylin goes, this is Rothgar. He goes,
And he looks to Jaylin and looks to, is it your mother you're pointing me at?
yeah. He goes, and then he goes, this is my mother.
And he looks to Jaylin for a second, like confused, and then looks to her mother, and just like his eyes go wide, and he just drops to his knee, and he's just like, my lady.
And the queen goes, thank you, all of you. I don't know what would have happened today without you reaching us and helping us. She goes, but it's very strange to see my son and Kethra groan. Perhaps will these spells last for the rest of the day?
It's not a spell. We come from a few years from now.
I don't understand. You were there with me. You carry your father's sword very well, Jay. I hope he's okay. But we have to get to Red Mountain, and from there to our allies, the dwarves. We're not. That your father commanded that of me, and we have to go.
How long do you actually he looks to actually the Wolf Knights, and he goes, is the carriage salvageable?
The leader goes, no, it's been totally destroyed. And he goes, but if you have a way to get the queen and the princess and the prince to safety with magic.
Jaylin turns to Kethra, and he takes off his own necklace.
No. You can't, Jaylin.
He goes, we already know how this story goes for me.
If you stay behind, who will lead the people when we get back?
I'll find you again.
And Kethra just starts crying. And she's like, I won't lose you again.
And your
Can
mother's... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, can I step in
Yes.
and like put a hand on Jaylin's wrist that's holding the necklace and put it down to his side and hand Kethra mine?
Can I intervene in that?
Yes.
Alright. Alexandra's just gonna come out from behind the tree and just say, there is another option.
Speak.
Well, you see, Jaylin, the amnesia you had may have been caused by me, and I'm sorry for that, but when we arrived here, I cast a protective spell on you that appears to have lasted until this day.
Yeah.
I could cast another one.
And the queen goes, cast it upon me and take Josephine to safety. And she looks at Jaylin and goes, you are not staying behind.
I'm sorry,
What?
Your Royal Highness, but this is his choice, not yours.
I command you.
You are
says
not
to
my
Alexandra.
queen.
Jaylin, Jaylin steps between them.
and she goes, no, but I am his. And she puts her hands on Jaylin's face. And she goes, whatever you had to do to get to me today, you were here when I needed you most, my son. Take Jo. Get her to safety. I will take the knights, and I will get myself to safety as well. Please.
And because he doesn't want to say goodbye, he just turns and walks over to his sister and places the necklace on her.
And Alexandra's gonna cast her protective charm.
Thank God you did not botch that one.
Oh, I know.
And you cast, and with an 8, there's a side effect, yes?
Yes.
Or it goes in an unexpected
Didn't we
way?
say the side effect was amnesia?
Yes. And basically you see the queen look a little faint, and one of the knights kind of holds her by an arm and starts to question and then
And Jaylin actually looks at the knights and goes, "Don't speak of this moment. The future of our kingdom depends on it."
and goes, yes, your highness. And all of you start to shimmer, and all of you end up back in Haven with Josephine in Jaylin's arms, still a little girl.
Aww.
I hate you.
And that is where we're going to wrap up for today.
Holy shit, I hate you guys.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So that's Dungeon World for today. We're going to do some post-game stuff after I wrap up the stream, but guys, let me say thank you for those of you that did stay tuned in. My God, that was an emotional mess for me. And everybody's like, why is he so up? No. This was... Jeez. Okay.
This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
original story stuff now.
Oh, jeez. Man. I had fun. I had a lot of fun. We're gonna find somebody to host though. No raid today. I don't think we're